2022 reorganization and regular January business agenda meeting of the Board of Supervisors for Honeybrook Township. I am Beth Cole, Township Solicitor. Because this is the reorganization meeting, the board has asked me to start the meeting until we've elected a new chair and vice chair who will take over the meeting from that point forward. Before I formally call the meeting to order, we would like to just take a moment to welcome our new supervisor, Laura Birdie. And she has taken a formal oath of office before the notary public, but for purposes of this public setting, we would like to give her the opportunity on the record to take that same oath here before the public. So Laura, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Laura, do you, Laura Birdie, solemnly swear or affirm that you will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and to discharge the duties of Township Supervisor in Honeybrook Township, Chester County, with fidelity? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Thank you, Laura. And that is all that I have before we proceed to the meeting. Welcome, Laura. With that, I'd like to call the meeting.
Thank you.
With that, I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask everyone to please rise for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Okay, two quick announcements. In accordance with Resolution 2-2012, you are hereby informed Scott Stilson of Vincent Drive is live streaming tonight's meeting. Also, this meeting is available and being recorded electronically on the Zoom platform. Our first matter on the agenda is an open forum. If there's anyone attending the in-person meeting that would like to make comment to the Board of Supervisors at this time, please identify yourselves and step to the microphone. Okay, hearing none. Is there anyone on Zoom?
There is not. That has a question.
All right, thank you. With that, we'll move to the election of officers for the Board of Supervisors. At this time, I would entertain a motion for election of a chair for the Board of Supervisors.
I would move to elect Laura Birdie as the chair.
Is there a second?
I would second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none. And a vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right. Laura Birdie will be the chair. And I'll move right to the election of vice chair. Is there a nomination for vice chair of the board?
I'd like to nominate John McHugh.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so Laura Birdie as chair and John McHugh as vice chair. At this time, I would like to turn the meeting back over to Laura as chair. Laura, did you intend to conduct the meeting, or did you and John are both on Zoom tonight? Or
They agreed to have Tracy.
Tracy's going to conduct as chair for tonight?
Correct.
Okay, sorry, didn't get that.
Apologies.
All right, with that, I'll hand the meeting over to Tracy to act as chair for tonight's meeting.
Okay, Laura, I want to say welcome to the board. I'm looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Okay, first we have the vacancy board chair. A motion to appoint Gary McEwen to a one-year term ending 12/31/2022.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, then we have the consent agenda for appointments. A one-year term ending 12/31/2022, except where noted. Can we, a motion to approve the entire consent agenda?
We're doing modification on, looking at the list right now, and no version number on the document, so
Yeah, Yeah, we did have some type of modifications, I believe they were,
The only one that you would need to discuss really is a voting delegate to the county and state conventions, which is item 23.
So we usually, voting delegates, supervisor, chair for designee, so that's always been the standard. I don't think we've ever specified that.
I thought we were,
So as far as,
page,
like the Westchester County, our delegate, if that's going to change, we have to notify them.
It's
And
actually
then,
under a different.
that's
spot.
under new appointments, I think, John.
Another one, yes. Okay,
I'll do 28.
all right. So let's go with the, go ahead, consent agenda appointments. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think items 1 through 28 were okay for, I believe the next page, page 2 of new appointments, is that the
Yeah.
1 through 6 is what we're gonna table.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to support, consent agenda items 1 through 28?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, and then moving on to page 2, we're gonna table items 1 through 6, which is our new appointments, to a further time when we're all here and able to discuss it, more easily.
Okay.
Item 7 was the motion to appoint Stacy Pop Young, 1460 White School Road, to a 3-year term on the Honeybrook Community Library Board. Do I hear a motion to make that appointment?
Make the motion to appoint.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We move to our consent agenda for other business. Do I hear a motion to approve the entire consent agenda for other business, items 1 through 7?
Go ahead, Lori.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 These are, we've been told that they go back and forth, Laura. That works. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and item 8, accept the 2021 year-end report of the Raised Bed Garden Program by Chester County Food Bank. Can we make a motion to support that?
I'll make the motion to support, accept the year-end report.
All in favor?
You need a
Aye.
second.
Aye.
Aye.
And then Laura seconds it?
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you. All right, and then we go on to page 4, Departmental Reports. Item 1 would be Don Johnson, who is here in the back of the room.
Yeah, I don't have anything tonight. We're good.
Okay, and hopefully we'll be good with the maybe no snow, right? But that's
Yeah,
not
that
looking
was a
good.
good thing, yeah. Never started that.
Every day's a win.
Item 2 would be Christie, our administrative assistant.
Thank you. The Honeybrook Community Partnership met on Tuesday, December 14, at Communities Insurance in the borough. Discussion topics included how to attract more members to the partnership meetings and a timeline for the distribution of grant monies to nonprofits, which will make a return this year. Last year with COVID and everything, that particular activity was tabled. As well as discussion of a partnership website upgrade. Pardon me. The next meeting will be on January 11 at the Chester County Solid Waste Authority, and I've invited Warren to attend that meeting with me to introduce himself to the group. Starting this year, Stormwater projects will be issued a permit card similar to the building permit cards that we have. I had a discussion with our stormwater engineer, Jennifer Van Dyke, and this is a practice that's worked well in other municipalities, and I believe this will help bridge the gap between initiation of a project and completion of a project. So there will be a more visual cue for folks to call for and conduct inspections on a regular basis to close out their projects in a more timely fashion. So that will be starting this year. And lastly, the township offices will be closed on Monday, January 17, in observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And that is all I have.
Thanks, Tracy. Item 3 would be Warren Bensky, our new township manager.
Thank you. So I've submitted my manager report. You'll see that it flows similar to Steve Lance's, the previous township manager's report. We made some changes with keeping the format the same. However, you'll see month-to-month, many of the issues are just ongoing, so you'll see if there's been no change from last month. That's going to be similar to the previous month's report. There's not much to report on that, which isn't noted, but, we do have some movement on the Chestnut Ridge alternate trail that we'll possibly be able to speak about in a little bit. And just that you'll see most of the updated reports being completed with Christie's assistance, since I'm relying on her heavily to get me through this year and up to speed. So if it's a well report done, you got Christie to thank. That's all I have.
We'll go with that.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. Thank you. Item 4 would be Land Preservation Committee. There's no one here from Land Preservation.
I just got a comment on that. So the breakfast meeting, as you know, it's been canceled, but the Land Preservation Committee, I believe, are going to meet 7 p.m. instead of the 9 a.m. meeting. Is that correct, Warren?
That is correct, thank you. Yeah, so the breakfast was canceled for those in the room, but they're going to have the meeting that night, 7 p.m.
Okay, thank you. Next would be, item 5 would be our Planning Commission. Now, we do have one member of the Planning Commission here, Troy Stacy. Mike normally gives the report from the Planning Commission.
Sure, thank you, and Happy New Year to the board. I just wanted to report, we did receive a variance application for this coming month's meeting. That will involve a floodplain, a structure within the floodplain on Supley Road, I apologize. We also received a subdivision plan for a 2-lot subdivision, I believe, on Mount Pleasant and Rock Road, that we'll be discussing at the January meeting later this month. There is obviously some time because the meeting this month from the board was moved up a week. So we do have a deadline that hasn't been closed at this point, so we may receive additional items prior to the planning commission being held at the end of January. But that's all I had to, unless, Troy, do you have anything to add for planning commission?
No.
Okay. That's all I had.
Thank you. Item 6, we have Parks and Rec. Christie normally has the input here.
Yes, there are now 2 vacancies on the Park and Rec board. We received a resignation letter from Therese Mochling, and we have prepared a plaque to commemorate her nearly 10 years of service on that board for the board members to sign. So John and Laura, when you have an opportunity to stop by and sign that for her, we'll see if we can get her to the February meeting to accept that. Otherwise, we are taking resumes from interested parties. You only need to be a resident of the township to be eligible to serve on the board. So any questions, feel free to call the office, but that's really the big item under Park and Rec. They will be meeting on the 3rd Thursday of the month, as usual.
Tracy, I just have one additional item for you. Warren kind of alluded to it in his report, but the Chestnut Ridge development, if you're aware of that, Greason and on Chestnut Tree Road. There was discussion about meeting with those homeowners adjacent to that about relocating the trail that would run through that development. I've had conversations with the developer over the past week or two, and he's in agreement to relocate that in accordance with what was proposed by, I believe, Parks and Rec was involved in that, as well as the Brandywine Conservancy was involved in that process. So I did receive that affirmative note from the developer that he's willing to do that. I believe it does ultimately reduce the trail length slightly on his behalf, so obviously there would not be any additional trail warranted or expense on his end. So he is in agreement to relocate the trail based on what our recommendations are. I'll follow up more on that. We'll probably see some more movement in the next month or so.
Right, I remember when that came in, it was a hot issue for the residents.
The existing development to the west.
Yeah, Caitlin Court.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. So I figured I'd update the board on that. That just happened today.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, we'll go forward with new business. Motion to authorize or not authorize the payment of invoices with the due date prior to the February 9th, 2022 board meeting as prepared by the treasurer and approved by the manager. Now your motion?
Lori, you want to start?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 2, a motion to adopt or not adopt resolution number 2022-4, the setting staff wages for 2022. Do I hear a
I'll
motion?
make a motion to adopt.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 All right. A motion to authorize or not authorize the township manager to prepare specifications and receive bids for co-stars quotes for the Public Works Department's annual material and supply requirements, equipment rental, line painting, and seal coating, and then deliver the award recommendations to the board for award. This is the annual request for the road improvement maintenance requirements. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, to authorize.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Item 4, we have Ephraim Stalsus, stormwater project at 339 Grandview Circle, 22-8-7.4. Mike, will briefly explain this project so that we all know what's going on.
Sure, certainly, thank you. This project, just so the board's aware, is a lot of record that has existed. I believe it goes back to Mike Francis' original subdivision that was done many, many years ago. It has frontage onto North Burdell Road, but this project is proposing an agricultural and a combination agricultural building and residence on the existing property, and they're proposing a new driveway that's going to gain access through the Rockland Station development on Grandview Circle. So that's where they're going to be taking occupancy. There's actually a right-of-way that leads to this property through that development that would allow the driveway to come out through that development and then ultimately access 322.
Yeah, I thought he's already using that. He's using it already, right?
He might be as a field access.
Yeah.
That's true, yes. He will improve that just as a result of the project with a new driveway designed in accordance with our driveway ordinance. The reason it's before you as a board is there are two areas of relief that are being requested. One from the driveway section of the Saldo related to the slope. The requirement is for a 4% entrance at the driveway where it accesses onto the roadway. They're proposing a 6%, which is slightly more. And also they're going to have some minor areas within the driveway length that will exceed 15%. From a stormwater standpoint, we've looked at those. They are very minimal. One's a 20-foot length and one's a 15-foot length. And they will comply with the remaining requirements outside of those two areas for the driveway. The other ordinance waiver that they're requesting is to allow an infiltration trench to be 11 feet away from the proposed building. The ordinance requires 25 feet. 10 feet is usually the minimum that we recommend from an engineering perspective. The bottom of that is also lower. The bottom of the infiltration trench is going to be lower than the structure. So the nice part about that is it's not going to have interference with groundwater into the structure by any means. So that's usually the barometers that we use, or parameters we use when we entertain these relief requests. So from a stormwater perspective and a driveway perspective, we have no objections to either of those issues. But they do technically require waivers from the sections that are noted on the agenda.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when this happens, are the neighbors of the property notified?
The adjacent owners, you mean? No, they're not. The difference between a waiver, if it would be a zoning ordinance variance or something like that, that would require relief from the zoning ordinance, that would spark notification to neighboring properties, because it's a waiver from your own standalone stormwater ordinance and also the driveway ordinance. Those come before the supervisors, and they do not require the notification process.
Okay. So, previously, I had received a complaint in regard to this entrance, which is why I know it's there. That the farmer was putting lumps of dirt onto the development street and, wasn't cleaning them up, and then the horse from the one and whatnot.
Okay.
So I don't know that there's any.
The difference, we could have actually, that would fall into the jurisdiction of the Conservation District. We could have followed up with enforcement from that standpoint. This plan that they're preparing now is for the construction of the building. So along with the building, they will have to install stormwater management controls in addition to have erosion controls in place, as well as reviewed by the Conservation District. So anything that predates that project, we could go through enforcement for that, but they have to get necessary approvals in order to construct this project, the driveway and the buildings included.
Okay, so hopefully once it's completely improved, that'll sort of make that problem go away too,
Right.
mostly.
Yeah, and there's improvements associated with that along with the stormwater. I believe they're also proposing curbing with this driveway. So that will address some of the runoff issues that it may be directed in another location that might cause a problem. There's existing inlets in the street system that we're being directed to as a result of that curbing. So that will help from that aspect too.
Okay.
Is that whole driveway paved?
Not the whole driveway, I'm sorry, paved, it is, yeah, I'm sorry. The curbing, I don't think is curbed the entire way. So, are there any questions? This did not go to planning commission, obviously, because we did not have a meeting in December. So I don't have a recommendation from the planning commission related to these two.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to grant the waivers A and B as noted under item 4?
I make a motion to grant.
And a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike, I have a question for you. Is he putting a regular farm back here?
Farm, did you say?
Is it gonna be a farm back in here?
No, I believe his plan, honestly, he proposes an ag building, but that was a question that came up in the permitting process. So I think it's actually a barn and a residence only. I don't think he's planning on doing anything beyond that. As far as what I recall in the permitting, I didn't really look into it in detail, but I can look and let you know tomorrow, just so that you're aware of
I
that.
mean, if it is a farm, in milk trucks, they start running milk trucks through there, feed trucks, you're gonna have complaints on that.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, so, all right,
Okay?
thank you.
Okay, item 5, motion to adopt or not adopt resolution 2021-5, requesting DEP approval of a revision to the Township sewage facilities plan for Elmer Kaufman subdivision, 1333 Beaver Dam Road, 22-10-8.
But we could do table that until the next.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I can provide insight if that's what you need. This is a requirement by DEP. They are applying for a planning module. This is the lot that's being created with the Elmer Kaufman subdivision, which is a 10-acre lot off of the main farm, and they're proposing a residence and barn and driveway on that 10-acre lot. Typically, when they do that, that's for a family member, such as a son or a daughter and their family. And the resolution is just one of the many items that needs to be submitted along with the planning module to the DEP. The Chester County Planning Commission, the Honeybrook Township Planning Commission, and the Sewage Enforcement Officer, Eric Leskovich, have all reviewed this and signed off on it. So, I don't know what else I can add.
And I think we just got that recently, if I'm not mistaken.
Actually, yeah, actually it came in September, and we were waiting on the planning commission.
Yeah. I thought we were waiting on outside agency.
Yeah, that was the only thing we were waiting on, so.
So this isn't a condition that the board could adopt this, and then again, that would go to DEP, who ultimately would review and approve the module or not. And then if it's not, it gets sent back and they have to address any comments DEP would have at that point. But from our perspective, we're satisfied. We've received everything as Chrissy just mentioned.
Okay, thank you, Chris, thank you. John and Laura, are you okay with that? Do you want to make a motion to adopt the resolution?
Sure, I'll make a motion to adopt.
And do I hear a second?
All right, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item 6, a motion to authorize the board chair to sign or not sign an agreement between Honeybrook Township and Twin Valley Fire Department for 2022. It's an annual agreement for the Twin Valley Fire Department for services with the township.
I make a motion to authorize.
I hear a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, item 7. A motion to approve or not approve the following financial security releases recommended by Technicon. A, B, and C. A is Alvin Byler, 2439 Beaver Dam Road, 22-9-5.28, in the amount of $24,913.35 for site improvements. Item B, Village Green, Phase 3, Horseshoe Pike, 22-8-86, in the amount of $8,833 for site improvements. And C, Poplar Realty, Chestnut Ridge, Stages 2 and 3, 22-8-52.3, and the amount of $182,091 for site improvements.
I have a question on the motion 7 and 8. So,
Well, item 8 needs to be pulled, that was put on there in error.
okay. And then for item 7D, is that for the landscaping?
Yes, that is landscaping, John. The developer planted in Phase 3 number of trees that were required by the approved plan. So that's what their releases entail.
Can we hold off on item B and consider A and C?
Is there a reason that we're holding off on item B?
There isn't. I heard, got some feedback about the landscaping, there's some questions on it. So, if we release the money, I don't know if we're in a position to come back. So I think if we can hold off on that release.
Who submitted the concerns, John? I didn't hear anything back from the township that there was a concern at all.
Yeah, I just speak to one of the residents, and I believe there might be someone in the audience that would like to speak on that tonight. Is there anyone present?
No, I don't think so. Does anybody want to say anything about the trees at Village Green? No?
John, there's no one here for that.
Okay. I still like your request, we hold off on that release.
Beth, is there a concern with holding on?
Yeah, Mike, do you know when that request came in? Because when the request comes in understand we have 45 days to address that, and I'm only concerned that we're not going to meet until February based on when they're requesting.
I think the request actually, we could have acted on it at last month's meeting, but we pushed it to this month just because of the time. But we can't push it beyond that. So this is our last opportunity. I think we have 45 days
Yeah.
by ordinance, and we would be outside of 45 if we table.
So I think that's my concern, is we have an obligation to either approve or deny the request, John, within 45 days. So
Right.
I don't think we can table it. I mean, you have the option to deny it if we have reason to do so, that's defensible. I'm not sure. Can you elaborate a little more
I
about?
was told the work on the trees was done poorly. It was the same landscaper that was used the last time on the trees, and the burlap is exposed. It's not done to the what we approved, and that's the feedback I got on this. So, of course, last minute I heard about this, but that's the information I received. So if we release this money and that work wasn't done properly, what's the recourse?
Well, John, I guess I'll jump in and just say our recommendation is based on our inspection, Technicon's inspection of the work that was done to ensure that it meets your approved plan requirements. As you recall, we talked about landscaping a number of times in the past related to Village Green, and workmanship or a landscaper's methods for planting obviously is at professional discretion that they would have. We ensure that the species is correct, the caliper is correct, and the number of trees is correct per the approved plan. So I don't think we're in a position to question the landscaping method. We found that it was acceptable based on what we observed in the field. So the other component of this is if the trees would happen to die, and this was explained to the HOA prior, they would be required to replace those dead trees if they were in fact found to be dead at the conclusion of the development. So there is measures in place that our ordinance provides that we can go back and require the developer to plant a new tree in the event that it was found to be dead at the time that we would do our final inspection.
I think, don't they have to stay alive for a year, I believe?
I think it's a year or 18 months.
18 months, yeah. they have
Yeah,
to stay
so
alive
we have that in our agreements that speak to that for this phase in particular.
So it sounds like while that's noted, it doesn't seem like legally we can do that.
But we mean not legal, I mean, we have the opportunity to make sure that that's the reason why it's inspected. If the work wasn't done properly, that's the information I got back from the residents, and it's not the first time that we've encountered this. Whether it's the landscaper or the action of the developer not following through, I don't know. But that's the information I got on Village Green, and I still feel I can prove that.
Well, I think that what I heard, maybe I misunderstood it from our solicitor, is that we have to act on it in 45 days, and if we don't have any legal way to say that it's improperly done.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you can get into.
Go ahead. Yes. Go ahead with the vote, but I'll make a motion not to approve. Laura?
You're making a motion to not approve 7B only.
Yes. So, apparently the block is 7, 8, B, and 6, so if that's the case, I'm voting, make a motion to not approve.
Well, why don't we go ahead and vote in 7A and C? We all agree to that, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to approve 7A and C?
I make the motion to approve A and B.
A and C?
A and C, right?
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now
So
let's
we'll-
go to B.
I'll make a motion to not approve B.
Okay, so
Yeah, go ahead.
Laura, did you understand? From what it sounds like to me, I don't know that we have a legal grounds to do that. that, and like Mike explained, there is actually a device in place that exists for tree plantings 18 months after the trees are planted. If the tree dies, the tree gets replaced. So that's been explained, and I know we had previously looked at a diagram of tree plantings. We had a letter from a landscaper to explain tree plantings, and then we went out and looked at the tree plantings. I haven't looked at the exact particular trees that we're talking about right now, but we've talked a lot about trees. So I'd like to make the motion to approve B.
Well, there's a motion on the table.
There's a motion on the table.
We should probably call for a second on John's motion, to see if there is a second before you.
So, okay.
There was no second on not approved.
So if that motion died, that's fine, I just,
Yeah, so it sounds like that motion
yeah,
died.
okay, fair enough.
So Tracy's good.
Go ahead.
Okay, so 7B, do I hear approval or can I hear a motion for 7B approval? I'll make the motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And I vote nay.
So nothing.
Okay. I think we're on 9, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Okay.
We are pulling agenda item 8.
Yes. Agenda item 8 is off the agenda. So 9 would be discussion regarding the closure of Brandywine and Jennersville hospitals. And we do have Stephen Kern, our fire chief here, and some other members of the fire company.
And there's Captain McCully here as well, and then also Stephen Rodella from the EMS is on Zoom.
Okay, so I'm Stephen Kern, I'm the fire chief, Honeybrook Fire Company, and I'm just basically here to express my concern with the closures of Jennersville and Brandywine Hospital and how it's going to affect emergency services in our community. I mean, as of right now, Jennersville is closed. They closed December 31st, and Brandywine is closing January 31st. And there's rumors that they're staying open, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm not believing that until that actually happens. My biggest concern is, as fire chief, is what is ambulance availability going to be in our community once these closures happen. Maybe Jason can probably speak on this a little more, but as far as transport times, turnaround times, it's going to be extended. And right now, all the hospitals in Chester County are on high patient volume or on total birth right now. So, correct me if I'm wrong, if you transport somebody and there's not a bed available, you have to wait.
Correct,
You have to wait there with the patient in the parking lot until there's a bed available.
correct. There are extended times.
So, with that being said, if Honeybrook's out on a call and Elmerson's out on a call, where's the next ambulance coming from? Because as of right now, there's one ambulance at the Honeybrook station and one ambulance at the Elmerson station. 24/7, 365. But beyond that, it's relied on mutual aid. So that's basically why I'm here. I'm just expressing my concern. I don't think that that's going to be adequate, but I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but
I hope you're wrong too, but I don't think you are.
I don't think I am either. I mean, this is not a crisis just in Honeybrook Township. This is all throughout Chester County, throughout the country right now. Hospitals everywhere are full, and EMS is very busy. So I think we should be working together with, Elmerson, Honeybrook EMS, fire company, municipalities should all be working together to come up with a plan of how we're going to tackle this problem.
I spoke with someone today from Honeybrook Borough Council, and she mentioned trying to pull together a group of municipal borough council members, that would be, you know, pertinent and served by the Honeybrook Culvers and Ambulance. And she's supposed to be sending out an email. It's Jessica Curtis. I know you guys probably know her.
Yeah.
So she's supposed to be sending out an email so that, and we haven't all talked about it yet, so sorry, John and Laura. I know that John had sent an email to our township manager, Warren, in regard to your email that you had sent. And I spoke to another supervisor from West Callan about it, because they're having the same problems too. We do need to address it. I think we're gonna try to get together and come up with something. We probably should, maybe get your contact information, get you in on it, because obviously you know better than us what's happening.
Yeah, and they would know better than I would. Members of the community associate the ambulance with the fire company, so they're going to be asking us for
Sure.
answers.
So you need to know, yeah, you need to know
We
what's
need to
going on.
know, I mean, it's going to affect how we operate the fire company, you know. There's a lot of times now where we go to an accident where we're there before the ambulance because they're out on another call. I mean, there's
Yeah, when you need an
nothing
ambulance,
we
you
can
need it.
do about it. Nothing, I mean, as of now, there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, I think between the Ellis and Honeybrook EMS, I think they cover nine or 10 different municipalities. So obviously this wouldn't just be focused on Honeybrook Borough and Honeybrook Township. I think all parties involved need to.
Yeah, everywhere you cover needs to come together and
Yeah.
kind of come up with some kind of solution.
They're going to be more ambulances, you're saying?
Excuse me,
That would be one.
supervisors.
That would be
One-
one.
Then you have to replace the house and the crews and all that.
Hold on. I'm sorry, there's someone on Zoom apparently.
Yeah, we have somebody on Zoom that wants to make a comment, and then we'll go to Mr. Stacy.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Supervisors, it's Steve Bella, the Executive Director of Elvis and Honeybrook area EMS, and kudos to the fire chief in recognizing this problem. We've also been working and planning on this since the day the announcement has been made. We do have a commitment from Tower Direct that paramedic service will not be affected. And one blessing out of that is they're upgrading, obviously, to a MICU service, which will give us an additional transport unit, and we're working on plans to be able to utilize that vehicle more efficiently. We do have our operations officers. They're part of the Chester County Task Force to discuss these issues. We're monitoring the daily situational reports from Chester County Department of Emergency Services. We're also discussing the current situation from the Jennersville closing with our mutual aid partners to see how it's affecting them, because we'll probably see that similar situation when Brandywine closes. We have changed our state reporting software to monitor hospital wait times, what we refer to as wall times, once the crews arrive at the hospital until they're able to give report to the emergency room staff and transfer patient care. So we can pick up on those issues quickly as they happen. And we all know currently, like the chief said, currently Chester County hospitals are suffering from delayed turnaround times due to the pandemic. And healthcare is facing basically a nationwide shortage of staffing. So these are all issues that we're working on, and I did reach out to Warren. We will send our municipalities a weekly report on any issues that we see that are currently happening or we feel may happen caused by these closings. But we will work closely, our operations staff. I believe Captain McCulley is in the room. Chief Carmen, unfortunately, is suffering from COVID right now, so he's down for a couple days, but he's doing well. And those guys will all work together to ensure that your residents' health and safety are taken care of. And thank you for the time.
Thank you very much.
Okay, in the room here, Mr. Stacy had something you wanted to ask.
I was just asking if it was just a matter of getting more ambulances, or if it was more crew members that you needed.
Well, I think I can't speak for that organization, but I know they have spare ambulances. I think like I said, I don't know what the call stats are, I don't know how many times, you know, when Honeybrook's out on call, Albertson's covering, and when Albertson's covering, when another ambulance, I mean, it has happened already where Coatesville has to come to Honeybrook for an ambulance call, and, you know, that alone is at least 20 minutes from the time of dispatch. So, it's just gonna happen more often, if things don't slow down, which I don't think it's going to, but.
So if you had, I mean, is there extra crew available, or is it a matter of?
Everywhere is extremely run thin on crew.
And then the fact that you're traveling farther for every call.
Correct, and the bigger turnaround time, it's just,
It exaggerates the whole system.
yes, ma'am.
You have to travel further, you can't get in and out of hospitals fast.
Now, is Brandywine currently on the route? They've been closed since the 27th, correct? They're not taking communications?
Frank, let me tell you right now.
I thought the ER was on permanent divert since December 27th.
Pretty much, so
Okay.
what'll happen is our crews have to call in and speak to medical command,
Wow.
and then medical command will make that decision.
As of right now, they're on high patient volume, so I guess according to that, yes, they would take a patient
Okay.
if they have a bed available. That's the same with Chester County, Phoenixville, Paoli. Those would be the other Chester County hospitals. They're all on high patient volume. And Jennersville's obviously closed.
Well, hopefully we can, sort of put our heads together and come up with something.
Does Captain McCully have, do you have something you want to?
Steve pretty much said it all. We do get updates from the Chester County Task Force all the time. It's something all throughout the county that we're working on, and we are diligently trying.
So I do forward the sit reps from the county regarding the hospital closings to the supervisors as they come in. So the supervisors are informed by me as soon as that information is coming in.
So, I mean, do you, anything off the cuff, if there's no, if you have the extra ambulances, but you don't have the crew, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm personally trying to actively recruit. It's just, healthcare is so thin everywhere with providers. I mean, if Chief Kern has any EMTs or EMRs that would like to come over, I'll bring them on. I don't know. There's not an easy answer to this,
Yeah, that's what I just,
unfortunately.
yeah, I don't know. There has to be something done, but I don't know, what we could do either.
Is there a shortage due to the vaccine mandate? Because I know a lot of healthcare professionals, if they don't want to get the vaccine, they're quitting work rather than getting it. Is that a problem that you're looking at?
I'm not aware of anything.
There's a lot of nurses, if they don't want to get the vaccine, they quit. So they're being forced to get it.
Yeah, I can't answer to that. We at the fire company have a small amount, we have a handful of EMTs. But, we can't do so much. And we certainly help out,
Absolutely.
but
I think we're gonna discuss it further, like I said, and, I don't know really what the answer is, but maybe we can come up with some type of, maybe an idea, something.
Yeah, I think ultimately the best we can do is seek out more staffing to put potentially a third ambulance on duty. Really, I think that's the only direction we can go to try and accomplish that. Like Steve and McCauley says, it's everywhere. It's nationwide. But to best serve our community, I think it's in our obligation to at least try that, because that would give us the resources of a third ambulance being available.
That way, when the other two are covering for each other, you have another
yeah.
choice.
That would be a definite help for sure.
Are there people in the community that would be qualified and certified, or is, you know, do you think there's people out there that just aren't involved in your organizations?
I reach out to other
You have to just
organizations.
start from scratch with, you know,
Yeah, I've reached out to other organizations. I actually had a guy come up from Coatesville tonight. So I have an interview with him, and we're gonna hire him tonight
okay.
after this meeting, so.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just curious.
Well, I'd like to thank you both, and all of you, for what you do for the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll, I guess, have to continue to talk about it and see if we can come up with anybody.
Continue to reach out to me, again, if I can help facilitate with the board. You know, again, Chester County wants to do things as well as our state reps. So, this is the first good step. Definitely, we have to get on it sooner than later. So.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a combination of a staffing and funding issue. That might be part of it too, but, you know, like I said, I can't speak for them.
Well, if your solution is to have another ambulance, you
That's
would
gonna
have
cost-
to,
it's gonna
you'd have
cost
an
more.
increase in your staffing price, sure. Right?
Yeah.
I certainly think this is planting the seed, and then from here, we'll be able to better answer questions as such as different municipalities meet together and make it a topic of discussion.
Okay. Well, I know we have your contact information, and I did just talk to Jessica today. She mentioned something about trying to sort of pull everyone together on Thursday, the 13th, Thursday, January 13th. Okay, now, I don't know, it seemed like,
That would work for me, but.
yeah, it seemed like tentative, and she was the one that was contacting everyone. I just talked to her because I had to go swear everyone in today at the borough, so.
As far as from Honeybrook Township, if we want to post something on the website about the situation, if there's anybody we can direct people to get information about this, that might be helpful. And one other item, we did discuss this at the Western Chester County COG meeting in December. The same initiative, these members is trying to get the word out. So we heard from people throughout the other municipalities that they want to make sure that people are aware of the difficulties that this will do to the surrounding communities.
I believe Chester County has put out a specific website to address this.
Yeah, the county commissioners are working on that.
Yeah, and again, the sit reps that are coming out bi-weekly or, you know, as needed are showing that update and are pushing people to go to the website and they can actually sign a petition, I believe, through there to gather support to find a quick solution to the, you know, what's going to be coming down the pipeline here in a couple of weeks.
How long, I'm just curious, how long is the training for EMT? I mean, what does that entail? Is that,
Well, him and I just went through it. It's a lot. I mean, it's like 200 hours. Then you have to, on top of that, you have to do a certain amount of ride-alongs to get a certain amount of patient contacts on top of your in-class time.
so you have somebody,
It's a commitment. I mean, it's no joke. I mean, we were in class
10 classes for 3 or 4 months.
2 nights a week and every other Sunday for 3 or 4 months. I mean, and that's without doing these extra ride-alongs, so.
all right, and I'm just curious too, because I don't know, I've never done that. Do EMTs, is it like a volunteer, like the fire company, or?
Some places are
It
volunteers.
can be. We accept volunteers and career staff. And right now, we're even offering the volunteers, once they get trained up to the level we feel comfortable, they can provide efficient patient care, we'll actually bring them on as career staff after they get to a certain point.
Okay. Okay, I just,
Usually EMS tends to be more career because they're busier. I don't know. I think the Honeybrook station probably runs close to 1,500 calls a year, so that's a lot to ask for volunteers.
sure, yeah.
Especially when, you know, fire company, we rely on guys leaving work for calls. You can't expect an employer to let someone leave 3 or 4 times a day.
No,
So,
no,
Yeah, that's a job, yeah. Okay, well, I appreciate you coming out tonight, letting
Yeah,
us
thanks
know.
for letting me speak.
Sure.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry about what's happening, I mean, hopefully we'll get through this all together.
John or Laura, do you have anything you'd like to say?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, I think I had something, but did you hear me about we did discuss this at the COG meeting, and if there's anything that we want to put on the announcement page for the township website.
Yeah, I just received the information about that website that Warren was talking about, that the county has, so I will be adding that.
Yeah, from just the county commissioners, it's been,
Yeah.
circulated quite a lot. Thank you.
Okay. Now, we go back to old business, sorry. Well, we don't have anything under old business, so we'll go to open forum. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to say here in person, right or left? Okay.
No one else even good.
No one else doing?
Nope, no questions.
Okay. I actually had one more question. Aren't we supposed to appoint, and maybe this is in the part that we tabled till next month, but the planning commission members?
That was under the consent agenda, items 1 through 28.
1 through 28. Okay.
Yeah. Number 12, 13, and 14.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we had Troy Stacy being reappointed to a 4-year term, Gary McEwen to a 4-year term, and Levi Kaufman to a 4-year term, all expiring 12/31/25.
Okay, yeah, so you're in there under item 12. So I know that you knew you were getting reappointed tonight because we talked about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Do I hear a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, next we have our upcoming meetings. January 10th, zoning hearing number 2021-11, Jones Left, 7:30 p.m. And January 2 be announced, potentially one for revision solar.
February.
Oh, it's February?
Yeah, continuing on to February.
Oh, all right, it's continued to February. And the farmer's breakfast, as we talked about, has been canceled, but they will in fact have a meeting later on that same day for land preservation. January 20th, Parks and Rec, the 27th, Planning Commission. February 2nd, Board of Supervisors Workshop. February 9th, Board of Supervisors. And of course, both of the workshop and the regular meeting for the supervisors are available on Zoom. And I appreciate everyone coming out. And hopefully somebody knows somebody that wants to be an EMT or on the Parks and Rec board. Thank you.
Good night.